On the Antelope Valley, and welcome to 2026. I hope everyone is doing well and that you had a pleasant and safe New Year's Eve, New Year's holiday, and ready for a what I think is going to be a good year, at least in real estate for the Antelope Valley in 2026. I'm Mark Troth, broker and co-owner of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Troth Realtors, right here in Lancaster, California, bringing you this week and the first look at the 2026 Antelope Valley real estate market, where each week we take a look at exactly what's going on in our local real estate market. Well, it's important that residents, potential buyers, sellers have a trusted local resource to go to follow along with the Antelope Valley real estate market. Often our statistics get lumped in with Greater Los Angeles County, Southern California, and our market is definitely unique onto itself. So before we take a look at where we start 2026, I also like to mention that our statistics are courtesy of the Greater Antelope Valley Association of Realtors. So where do we start this first full week of 2026? Our active listings, let me back up just a little bit. And that is last week, also kind of a little bit of a short week with Christmas the following week, New Year's last week. So it's going to take a couple weeks to truly get a picture of where we're heading. But as I mentioned, I'm pretty optimistic that it's going to be a decent year, better than the last couple of years, in my opinion. Last week, I also said, since these statistics are also going to be a little bit of kind of screwy numbers, is that we'd take a look at a couple of statistics as to how they related for a couple of years in the years past. So now here we go, starting our look at our statistics. Active listings, we started 849. That is down 6.7% from where we were last week at 910. But where were we when we entered into 2025? We were basically at 749, so exactly 100 less. When we entered 2024, we only had 585 active listings on the market. So we're about 250 or so, 260 greater than that, which is a good thing. And then as we entered 2023, we were at 902. So just a little bit higher as we entered 2023. So I think that looks pretty decent heading into January 2026 was 849. I have a feeling we're going to see that steadily build over the first few months of this year, but we'll definitely continue to take a look at it. Pendings, those properties under contract in an escrow, we're at 327 as we start the new year. That is down from 344 last week, down 4.9%. But once again, where were we as we entered 2025? We were at 313. So we are higher than where we entered 2025. Where were we as we entered 2024? We were at 318. So 19 more than where we entered 2024. And just a tick, about 11 lower than where we entered 2023 when we were at 338. So once again, it's those statistics where I'm optimistic that 26 is going to be a decent year in real estate. So wrapping up our statistics, the week of 12/29 through 1/5. 44 new listings. That's up from the previous week when we were only at 26. So that's a pretty decent large increase of 69. I think, as I mentioned, we'll see that number continually grow as we move through the first few weeks of January. Median list price of those 44 listings, 470,000. And number of new properties into escrow, 33. That's a 10% increase where we were only at 30 the week before. Like I said, these statistics I don't think are going to be indicative of where we're heading, but I mean, they do start to give us a benchmark of the starting point of the new year, the new race, if you will. Median number of days, those 33 properties were on the market, 67. That's an increase of 18 days. Listings sold during that time frame, 32. That's down from 35 the week prior. And then the number that will compare to last year, median sales price of those 32 properties, 430. The median sales price of the numbers as the closed sales as we entered 2025 was 455. So, once again, not a whole lot of movement in median sales price. Uh, and so even with what, people described as somewhat of a slow market, just not a lot of decline in value. And that is because even that number of 849 active listings, for a healthy market, we need to get that somewhere up in the 12 to 1300 number. Absorption rate, if you were to take that active listings of 849 and divide it by the number of solds over the last month, which was 208, it would take 4.1 months, 4 months and 1 week for all those 849 listings to go away. That is down from 4.6 the week before. So once I said these statistics are a little bit skewed due to the back-to-back 3-day work weeks, if you will, but it does give us a point of reference to start moving forward. So as always, I know this video ran a little bit long, but as always, if there's any more statistics, any more information that you might need, by all means, please feel free to reach out to myself or any of our other trusted associates here at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Troth Realtors, where we've been serving the Antelope Valley real estate market since 1957. Alrighty, everybody, take care. Not only make it a great week, but let's make it a great year. We'll talk to you next Monday. Bye-bye.